Right, so I'm going to be responding to some of these to two of my videos I did. One on Ryan Coogler's weird conversation with Ben Stiller, and the other one is going to be on Uncle Tenderism, Mr. Tenderism, because it seems I got some, modern day Sambos and Uncle Toms who really, because you got these type of black people who really don't, because they used to be in Uncle Toms and Sambos in society, they really don't know when black people are being insulted. They don't know when so-called black people are being insulted and being talked down to, you see, and being placated to. They really don't get that. They don't really get, when people are trying to condescend to them, because they think, black people think that just because, especially these so-called black males, I'm going to read your comments in a second, especially because if they have some sort of interaction with Caucasian people, and they treat them halfway decent, I notice the word I say halfway, then they think that there's nothing wrong with actually is taking place. They don't pay attention. They think that soft words and soft speech, soft tones, tend to denote respect, but it doesn't. I saw exactly what I saw in that Ryan Coogler interview. I'm not crazy, but again, a lot of you guys are looking with coon vision. So let me go ahead and read one of the detractors in my video, CSD 80204. I am confused by this title. I saw an interview and didn't recall a weird person. He grew up watching Ben Stiller. He said Bev Stiller. Stiller, take your time to do that. Get your, but you said Bev Stiller, Ben Stiller. You need to educate yourself on Ben Stiller. First of all, I don't got to educate myself on Ben Stiller. Okay? He's not nobody for me to educate myself on. I know who Ben Stiller is. Okay? I'm 55 years. I know who Ben Stiller is. I remember Zoolander and a lot of them other bland movies that he made. He made a bunch of bland movies with that Caucasian humor. I know who he is, Zoolander and all that other stuff he made. Yeah, I know him from the 90s. I know him from movies like Black and White. I know who his mother and father is, Ann Mara and Jerry Stiller. His father played on King of Queens. Him and his mother and father were a comedy duo. So I'm very aware of Ben Stiller and his family. Ryan Coogler, made it seem as though he grew up on Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller was nobody to grow up on because Ben Stiller was never no real major Hollywood director or personality in Hollywood like that. He was just like, like a lot of these fringe Caucasian directors, who make movies like that guy, Thomas Anderson, the guy who just did one Battlefield after another, which I call one bad bedwench movie after another. Paul Taylor Thomas. They always made these fringe movies in Hollywood that really didn't make any money. In fact, one Battlefield after another actually tanked, lost a whole crap load of money. So that was all for nothing. I'm glad. But anyway, you need to educate yourself on Ben Stiller for context in America. Italians, Jews, Irish weren't always considered white. I already know that. I know that. But he didn't have to come out and say that at that moment in the interview. And it was awkward. If you paid attention, Ben Stiller looked at him like, what are you talking about? He was placating to and being fed lines. If you paid attention, he had some kind of piece in his ear. He got real quiet. And then he just interjected that like somebody told him on cue to say that. It was a whole lot of pandering to Ben Stiller. You see, as if Ben Stiller, like I said, as if Ben Stiller is on his level. Ben Stiller is not on Ryan Coogler's level. And if you looked at the end of it, he threw a jab at him about the movie Sinners if you paid attention. I seen a whole lot of placating from Ryan Coogler, which they always ask so-called black men to humble themselves and talk like you just in awe of who sitting in front of you. Again, he didn't have to do that. If it was just a regular interview, then just make it a regular interview. No need for, you talking about the film and things like that. That's fine. No need for him to go on about Ben Stiller and his accomplishments, which he really don't have much of. Okay. That's what he's talking about, the character Remick. Bro, you're reaching on this one. It's always some black male that come out. And again, you obviously didn't watch the video because, again, a lot of you guys watch with Sambo vision. A lot of you watch with Coon Sambo vision, and y'all think, like I said, because you're around Caucasian people, you think that, oh, they must like me if I'm around them. And a lot of times, again, I'm not saying that the interview, again, he's supposed to come up there on some whole black power thing. But again, when you clearly are pandering to someone who doesn't deserve to be pandered to, you doing him a favor by letting him interview you, because who's making who more relevant there? Ben Stiller is not relevant today. Okay. It's really Ryan Coogler that's making Ben Stiller relevant. Okay. He's not relevant. Ryan Coogler is doing Ben Stiller a favor, sitting up on that panel, sitting on that stage, letting him interview him. He's doing him a favor. Okay. Ryan Coogler got the hottest movie out for this year and last year. All these awards is getting. When the hell the last time you heard anything from Ben Stiller? Another one. As a fellow black man, this is the worst commentary I've ever seen on YouTube. It's no surprise Coogler has made it this far. Where has he really made it to? You see, that's that Sambo, I'm just so happy to be here, coon mentality. Whatever Brian Coogler got, he earned. Whatever he got, he earned. So he don't have to, and that's my point. You don't have to placate to Ben Stiller. You don't have to sit up here and placate to nobody or let him talk down to you. You obviously didn't pay attention to it. Obviously. That's why I say, Jonathan Handman Petit, whatever your name is, no surprise Coogler made it this far because he has talent and is a gentleman. I hate when y'all talk that gentleman crap. Caucasian males say that to black men because what that really means is, oh, okay, you're gonna be compliant as I disrespect you. That's what that really means. A gentleman. They don't mean it no other kind of way because they don't act like gentlemen when it comes to black men. They talk and say whatever's on their mind, talk crazy all they want to. They don't have that when it comes to so-called black men. And he's not overthinking how he sits on stage. First of all, I talked about how these black men got to sit up there with their legs crossed like women. I don't know why y'all do that nonsense, because you're trying to follow after white men. You're trying to follow behind white men. That's all you're trying to do. We don't naturally sit like that, Sambo. Maybe you do. Tuck your penis between your legs. And another clown, this video was clearly meant to be rage bait for engagement. No, it is not. It is coon bait for people like you. Now, I'm going to go on to the other video. I'm going to go on to my other video with my Uncle Tenderism right here. I'm going to read this quick comment because I'm about to wrap this up. Somebody said, I'm not sure how he built up this business. I personally have heard only 6 or 7 months ago. As far as this man never said this was his business. Yeah, he did. He was promoting it like that it was his business. He made it. That's what a pitch man do. He make it seem like he has a personal stake in the business, which he did not. You see, then another guy, some guy named Booker T33. Then the other guy says, less than confused. Yeah, you are confused. It seems like you have more disgust for the victim than you do for the white supremacists. That's interesting. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do have disgust for somebody who's acting like a Sambo and a coon. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do have a problem with a grown ass man acting like a little boy to some white male, some Caucasian male who's younger than him, or I don't care what age it is, because see, I understand what that is. Yeah, I don't got no respect for Uncle Toms and Sambos. I'm sorry if that bothers you. He ain't got to be no victim. He chooses to be. And then one last but not least, this other guy goes, so what? Every person with a job's building up their boss's empire. No, you're not. No, you're not. That's not, see, obviously you don't know what an employee is. The boss, it's his job to build up his own business. The employee's job is to maintain it. He did more than maintain it. He actually put him in a whole nother lane and started the barbecue, got him doing the barbecue thing. Before, if you paid attention to the video, it was a failing coffee house before the black man, this guy came and told him about it and started cooking the food. And that's what brought people out and started making this guy money. Y'all guys really need to stop listening with coon vision. This other guy, Whitaker, I'm not even going to put no energy into you because, a lot of these guys, like I said, it's a shame to see black men think like this today. It's a shame when you try to get black men to stand up and be men that you got these Sambos out here in my comment section saying Sambo stuff. But y'all can keep commenting, man. I don't have no problem with the Sambo point of view. So, but that's it. Out.